She rolled her eyes and said, "I want luxury, not sentimental junk from your family." I replied, "Understood." But when she opened the small box delivered to her door and realized exactly what she had thrown away, her scream echoed down the hallway. I'm a 32-year-old guy, and until 3 months ago, I thought I had my life figured out. I was engaged to someone I'd been with for 4 years. We met at a mutual friend's birthday party, and for the first 2 years, everything felt easy. She was charming, ambitious, and had this way of making me feel like I was the only person in the room. But somewhere around year 3, things started shifting. Small comments here and there about my apartment being too modest, my car being outdated, my wardrobe needing an upgrade. I brushed it off as her wanting us to grow together. The real trouble started about 6 months before the wedding. We were supposed to get married in the spring, and the planning had turned into a battlefield. Every conversation about the budget ended with her rolling her eyes at my suggestions. She wanted a destination wedding. I wanted something intimate with family. She wanted a live band that cost more than my first car. I suggested a great DJ. But I compromised on almost everything because I loved her, and I thought that's what you did. Then came the engagement ring situation. When I proposed, I gave her my grandmother's ring. It was an antique piece, platinum with a center diamond surrounded by smaller sapphires. My grandmother wore it for 53 years. My grandfather saved for 2 years working double shifts to buy it back in the 60s. When he passed, my grandmother gave it to my mom with specific instructions. It should go to me for my future wife. My mom cried when she handed it to me the week before I proposed. My ex wore it for about 2 weeks before she started dropping hints. First, it was, "It's beautiful, but have you thought about getting it resized or maybe updated?" Then it became, "My friends keep asking about it, and I don't know what to say." Finally, 3 months before the wedding, she sat me down and said we needed to talk about the ring. "I've been trying to be grateful," she started, which should have been my first red flag. "But I can't keep wearing this. It's not my style. It's old-fashioned. When people ask about my engagement, I want to show them something that reflects us, not your family's past." I felt like I'd been punched. "This ring is part of my family. My grandmother specifically wanted you to have it." She rolled her eyes. "Actually rolled them. That's sweet and all, but I didn't get engaged to your grandmother. I want something new, something luxurious, not sentimental junk from your family." I just stared at her. The woman I thought I'd spend my life with had just called my grandmother's most precious possession junk. "Understood," I said quietly. She brightened immediately. "Really? Oh my God, thank you. I've been looking at this jeweler downtown, and they have the most gorgeous 3-carat pieces, and I think if we—" "I'll take care of it," I interrupted. "Give me the ring back. I'll handle everything." She slid it off her fingers so fast I almost laughed. Almost. She handed it to me with this relieved smile like I'd just agreed to pay off her credit cards. I put it in my pocket and told her I needed to run some errands. She kissed my cheek and went back to scrolling through wedding venues on her laptop. I drove to my parents' house. My mom took one look at my face and knew something was catastrophically wrong. When I told her what happened, when I repeated those exact words, "sentimental junk from your family," my mom went pale. My dad, who rarely gets angry, had to leave the room. "What are you going to do?" my mom asked. "I don't know yet," I admitted. "But I know I can't marry someone who thinks so little of where I come from." Over the next 2 weeks, I did a lot of thinking. I started noticing other things. How she talked about my friends like they weren't successful enough. How she'd make comments about my parents' house being cute in that condescending way. How every conversation about our future involved her vision, her timeline, her standards. I'd been so busy trying to make her happy that I'd forgotten to ask if I was happy. I decided to test something. I told her I'd ordered her dream ring and it would arrive in about 2 weeks. She was ecstatic. She immediately called her friends, posted some vague excitement on social media, and started planning an updated engagement photo shoot. She didn't ask how much it cost, where I got it, or if I was okay with the expense. She just assumed I'd handled it. Update 1. The package arrived on a Saturday afternoon. I'd had it delivered to our apartment while I was conveniently out having lunch with my brother. She called me 4 times in 10 minutes. I let it go to voicemail twice before answering. "Did you send me something?" she asked, her voice practically vibrating with anticipation. "Yeah, should be there now. It's a small box from a jeweler." "Is this it? Can I open it?" "Go ahead." I heard her tearing into the package. There was silence, then more silence. Then, "What the hell is this?" "What do you mean? This isn't a ring. This is just the old ring. The same ring. Did they clean it or something? Because it looks exactly the same, and I specifically said, that's because it is the same ring, I said calmly. I had it professionally cleaned, appraised, and certified. There's a document in there from a certified gemologist. You should read it. More silence. I could practically hear her scanning the paperwork. This says it's worth $47,000. $47,500 to be exact. The center diamond is 2 carats, flawless clarity, and extremely rare for its cut from that era. The sapphires are natural Burmese, which you can't even get anymore. The platinum setting alone is worth thousands. It's actually appreciated significantly since my grandfather bought it. It's not just sentimental junk from my family. It's a legitimate investment piece that most people would never be able to afford. The line went so quiet, I thought she'd hung up. Then I heard her breathing, fast and panicked. I didn't know. You never told me. You never asked. You just dismissed it because it wasn't new and shiny. Because it came from my family instead of a trendy jeweler downtown where you could brag about the store name. Okay, but we can move past this, right? I made a mistake. I get it now. We can. No, I interrupted. We can't. Because it's not really about the ring. It's about the fact that you looked at something my family treasured, something that meant the world to me, and you called it junk. You didn't care about the history or the meaning or the sacrifice behind it. You cared about showing off to your friends. And that told me everything I need to know about who you really are. She started crying then. The loud, dramatic kind of crying she did when she wanted sympathy. You're breaking up with me over a ring? Are you serious right now? I'm breaking up with you because you showed me that you value appearances more than substance. And because when I think about spending the rest of my life with you, all I see is more of the same. More eye-rolling. More dismissing the things that matter to me. More never being enough unless I'm buying you proof that I love you. This is insane. We're 3 months away from the wedding. Then you better start making calls, I said, and I hung up. The scream came about 10 seconds later. I wasn't even in the apartment. I was still at lunch with my brother, but our neighbors told me later they heard it. A full, guttural scream of rage that echoed down the whole hallway. She'd realized exactly what she'd thrown away, and it wasn't just the ring. Update 2. The fallout was spectacular in the worst way. She immediately started a campaign on social media about how I was a manipulative liar who had hidden the true value of the ring to make her look bad. Her friends ate it up initially, flooding my messages with accusations. But here's the thing about the truth. It's stubborn. I didn't respond to anyone directly. Instead, I posted a single statement with screenshots of our text conversations where she'd called the ring outdated, embarrassing, and specifically said she wanted real luxury, not some hand-me-down. I included the part where she'd sent me links to new rings and said, "This is what a woman deserves." I didn't editorialize. I just let her own words speak. The response flipped within hours. Suddenly her friends went quiet. People who'd known us as a couple started reaching out to me privately to apologize and say they'd always felt something was off about how she treated me. A few even admitted they'd heard her make dismissive comments about my family before. My ex tried damage control. She claimed I'd taken things out of context, that she'd been joking, that I was being vindictive. But the screenshots didn't lie. Neither did the testimonial from the jeweler, who confirmed I'd brought the ring in for appraisal and certification only after she rejected it, not before. The wedding got canceled. She tried to blame me for the lost deposits, but since most vendors had a clause about cancellations due to relationship dissolution, she ended up eating more of the costs than she'd planned. Her parents, who I'd actually liked, called me to apologize. Her dad told me he'd suspected she was becoming too focused on the wrong things, but had hoped marriage would ground her. As for the ring, it's back with my mom, in the safe where it belongs. She cried again when I returned it, but this time from relief. My grandmother's legacy wasn't going to someone who'd treat it like trash. My mom told me that my grandmother would have been proud of me for standing up for what mattered. Final update. It's been 3 months now. My ex moved to a different part of the city. I heard through mutual friends that she's dating someone new, someone who apparently works in finance and drives a luxury car. Good for her, I guess. I hope she finds whatever it is she's actually looking for, because it was never going to be me. I'm doing better than I expected. I started going to therapy to process everything, and my therapist helped me realize how much of myself I'd been shrinking to fit into her vision of what our life should be. I'd stopped hanging out with certain friends because she thought they were lowbrow. I'd changed how I dressed, where I ate, even how I talked about my family around her friends. I was so busy trying to be the man she wanted that I forgot to be the man I actually was. I've been reconnecting with people I'd drifted from. My buddy from college and I started a weekly basketball game again. I took my parents out to dinner and actually talked to them, really talked, for the first time in months. I even went on a few dates, nothing serious, but it felt good to meet people who asked questions about my life instead of just waiting for their turn to talk about themselves. The weirdest part? I don't miss her. I thought I would. I thought there'd be this huge hole where she used to be. But mostly I just feel lighter. Like I've been carrying something heavy for so long that I forgot what it felt like to stand up straight. Someone asked me recently if I regret proposing with my grandmother's ring. The answer is no. That ring did exactly what it was supposed to do. It showed me who someone really was before I made the biggest mistake of my life. And in that way, my grandmother protected me one last time, even from beyond the grave. I kept the appraisal certificate though, framed it, and put it in my office. Not because I care about the monetary value, but because it's a reminder that worth isn't always obvious. That some things are precious because of the love and sacrifice behind them, not the price tag in front of them. And that when someone shows you they can't see that difference, you should believe them the first time. The ring is waiting now, waiting for someone who'll understand what it represents. Someone who'll care more about the 53 years of love it witnessed than what it'll look like in an Instagram post. Someone who'll hear the story of my grandfather working double shifts and feel honored to carry that legacy forward, not embarrassed by it. I've got time. And now I've got clarity too. That's worth more than any ring, no matter how many carats it has. Edit. A lot of people are asking if I ever actually bought her the new ring she wanted. No, I never intended to. The moment she called my grandmother's ring junk, I knew the relationship was over. I just needed her to show me one more time that I wasn't wrong about who she'd become. Edit 2. For those questioning the appraisal value, yes, it's real. Antique jewelry, especially pieces with rare natural gemstones and documented provenance, can be worth significantly more than modern equivalents. The jeweler explained that similar quality would cost over $60,000 retail today. But that was never the point. The point was she never even bothered to ask or care before judging it.